Are you courageous enough to stay with the pain, long enough for it to shape you rather than shatter you, because it will do one or the other? The Stoic answer is yes. The Stoic answer is to lean in, to hold still, to watch, to learn, and in that yes lies power. In that yes lies a shift from victimhood to agency, from avoidance to attention, from suffering to strength. In that yes lies the revelation that pain is not a curse, but a calling. It is not here to diminish you, but to refine you. Pain can break you down, but it can also break you open. The choice is not in the pain itself, it is in how you respond to it. Your strength is born in that response. What if the thing you have spent your whole life running from was the very thing meant to make you stronger? What if the pain you curse is the forge of your character, the catalyst of your clarity, and the revealer of your true nature? What if pain was never the enemy, but the underestimated architect of your inner fortress? The Stoics did not run from pain. They studied it. They respected it. They used it. They made it their training partner, their inner compass, their source of refinement. To the Stoic mind, pain is not a punishment. It is not a flaw in the system. It is the system. It is a message coded in discomfort, a tutor with sharp edges but unmatched precision. Pain is information. Pain is instruction. Pain is a mirror that doesn't lie. It is the secret power most people ignore because it does not come wrapped in comfort. But discomfort is where growth begins. It is where real self-respect is born, where illusions are shattered, where resolve is either tested or forged. Pain does not ask your permission. It enters, it exposes, and in doing so it asks, who are you when everything is stripped away? In pain, the Stoics saw an opportunity to rise above mere reaction and step into deliberate transformation. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That statement is not just poetic reflection. It is a set of instructions, a blueprint for endurance, a manual for self-command. What if you could learn to suffer well? Not in bitterness, not in denial, but with clarity and with strength. To transform hardship into the heat that tempers your will. To take your wounds and mold them into wisdom. That is what this video is about. Not escaping pain, but decoding it. Not numbing suffering, but unlocking its deeper message. Pain is not your downfall, it is your defining moment. In this video, we will uncover how to extract every ounce of power and strength from the trials of life, not just to survive them, but to be shaped and sharpened by them. We will treat pain not as a mistake, but as a necessary passage that demands our full attention, courage, and discipline. This is not about romanticizing suffering. It is about recognizing that suffering can carry value, but only when we choose to mine it. There is a kind of wisdom that only arrives when things fall apart, and a kind of strength that only awakens when everything else has failed you. This journey is about learning to stop resenting our struggles and start reading them. It is about realizing that pain is not trying to destroy you. It is trying to instruct you. The Stoics believed that our power lies not in what happens to us, but in how we interpret and respond to it. So we will step into the fire, not flinch from it, and we will come out tempered, not broken. Let's begin. Underscore 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 chapter 1. Pain is the teacher. Pain is the great revealer. It strips away pretense and exposes truth. It does not knock, it barges in uninvited and demands your full presence. When everything is going well, it is easy to pretend we are wise, kind, and disciplined. Easy to maintain a polished exterior and carry the illusion of control. But let adversity strike, and who we truly are steps forward. That is the moment the mask falls. That is when the depth of our philosophy is exposed. This is why the Stoics valued pain, because it tells the truth. It does not flatter us. It does not negotiate. It confronts us with ourselves and asks us to be honest. Seneca wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." To the Stoic, pain is not a setback. It is a proving ground. It is not the destroyer of peace, but the awakener of principle. Think about that. Without resistance, there is no strength. Without difficulty, there is no depth. Without opposition, the soul has no reason to fortify itself. It is precisely the friction of life that awakens what is dormant within us. Muscles grow only by tension. Steel is forged in fire, and character is tempered through hardship. Pain is not the opposite of a good life. It is the crucible through which a meaningful life is formed. It is not something to escape, but something to engage. It is a reminder that you are alive, that you are engaged, that your soul is in motion. The Stoics knew that to avoid pain at all costs is to avoid your own evolution. To run from hardship is to remain shallow. You cannot grow in comfort. You cannot gain wisdom while asleep in routine. Pain shakes you awake. It disrupts the monotony and forces you to confront your blind spots, your limits, your priorities. The Stoics trained themselves not to fear pain, but to extract wisdom from it. They did not waste suffering. They turned it into fuel. They saw pain not as punishment, but as the world holding up a mirror, often the only mirror that tells the truth. And in that mirror, all distractions fall away. You see your character unfiltered. You see your beliefs in action, stripped of rhetoric. You see whether your philosophy is merely spoken or lived. If you lose someone you love, that pain speaks to the depth of your care. It proves that love, while a risk, was real. If you fail in something important, that pain exposes where you must sharpen your focus, where your preparation must deepen, or where your ego wrote checks that reality could not cash. If your pride is wounded, that pain invites you to examine your ego. What part of you was dependent on approval, praise, or recognition? What identity was built on shaky ground? Pain is a teacher that never sugarcoats the lesson, but always delivers it with honesty. It will never tell you what you want to hear. It tells you what you need to hear. It does not care for your comfort, it cares for your growth. It reveals the exact places where your armor is weak, where your habits are false, and where your strength is still waiting to be cultivated. But like any teacher, pain only teaches those willing to listen. It whispers lessons that require stillness to perceive and courage to embrace. Many people refuse the offering. They resist it, numb it, avoid it, trying to silence the alarm instead of addressing the fire. They chase distractions, hoping movement will muffle meaning, but the message persists. Pain is not cruel. It is persistent. It will return until the message is received. If not in this season, then in the next. And if not with a whisper, then with a roar. The question is, are you listening? Are you willing to step into the discomfort long enough to decode its signal? Are you courageous enough to stay with the pain long enough for it to shape you rather than shatter you? The Stoic answer is yes. Lean in, hold still, watch, learn. Underscore 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 chapter 2. The Art of Enduring. To endure does not mean to merely survive. It means to hold your center in the middle of the storm, to remain unmoved by chaos. This was central to Stoic training. Epictetus taught, "Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well." In pain, this mindset is your salvation. It is the anchor in the storm, the choice that separates wisdom from despair. When you internalize this, pain no longer becomes something that happens to you. It becomes something you rise through. When you endure with grace, you reclaim your power. Pain often arrives with a loud voice, trying to dictate your mood, your thoughts, your actions. It clouds your judgment and tempts you into reaction. But the Stoic learns to speak louder, not in words, but in resolve. Pain says, "Give up." The Stoic replies without speaking, "I remain." That silent resistance is a kind of mastery. It is forged not in grand moments, but in quiet choices when no one is watching, when it would be easier to fold. Endurance is not glamorous. It is not praised. It is the unseen labor of the soul. It is the quiet grit to rise again, even when no one sees the fall. Think of your hardest moment in life. The sleepless nights, the silent suffering. The fact that you are still here, that you did not break, that is the seed of your dignity. That seed contains power. It means you endured what tried to destroy you. It is not the outcome that defines you, but the refusal to surrender. Endurance reminds you that you are stronger than you thought. It forges something within you that no comfort ever could. Stoicism teaches you to stand taller when pain comes. Not to pretend it does not hurt, but to grow in the middle of that hurt. To not just survive, but to transform through the very trial meant to weaken you. To become more still, not from helplessness, but from composure. To become more thoughtful, not as an escape, but as a deliberate choice to respond, rather than react. The secret power of pain is that it invites you to meet yourself. Not the version you present to others, but the one who shows up when everything hurts. The one who has no script, no spotlight, no applause, just quiet endurance and raw truth. The one who stays when everything is falling apart, not because it is easy, but because they have learned the value of persistence. That version of you is your real foundation, and pain is how you find it. Pain carves away the excess. It burns off the distractions. It peels back everything that is temporary until only what is eternal remains. It strips off the layers of who you are pretending to be and introduces you to the raw, undefeated self beneath it all. The self that cannot be shaken by opinion, bent by failure, or broken by loss. It humbles the ego and awakens the soul. It teaches you to stop performing and start becoming. In doing so, pain hands you the keys to yourself. It reveals the unshakable core you may have forgotten was even there. That core is not made of image or identity, but of grit, of resilience, of soul. It proves that within you there is a strength that cannot be touched by the chaos of the world. A strength that does not scream or shine, but stands quietly, immovable, like bedrock beneath the storm. That is who you are. That is who pain introduces you to. And once you have met that version of yourself, you will never be afraid of pain in the same way again. Underscore 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 underscore. Chapter 3. Pain purifies intention. When things are easy, motives become blurry. You can chase success for applause. You can love for validation. You can work for approval. But pain strips away these illusions. It acts like fire on metal, burning off what is weak and superficial. When it hurts to continue, only what truly matters remains. You begin to see with fresh eyes. The applause fades, the need for external praise diminishes, and what is left is the raw truth. Why are you doing this? Who are you doing it for? Is it worth this suffering? The Stoics believed in clarity of intention. They taught that if your reason for action is not grounded in virtue, it will fail the moment pain shows up. If your motive is shallow, you will quit when it hurts. If your purpose is hollow, it will collapse under weight. But if your cause is real, pain will polish it. It will strip it of ego and leave behind something rare and incorruptible. If the answer is yes, if your goal survives this interrogation, then the suffering becomes sacred. It becomes meaningful, purposeful. It becomes the proof that your path is real. Pain transforms from a stumbling block into holy ground. Many people quit when pain arrives, not because the goal is not worthy, but because they never examined why they started. They built their mission on excitement instead of endurance. They did not dig deep into their why, and when the fire came, they had no fuel left. The Stoic does not move blindly. He considers the weight of his desires and welcomes pain as the proof of their depth. Pain is not a distraction from your purpose, it is a filter for it. When the path becomes hard, the Stoic knows it is not necessarily a sign to turn back. It might be the sign that you are just beginning to touch the truth. Pain does not only reveal your motives, it refines them. It burns away what was insincere and solidifies what is essential. You stop running after what looks good and start anchoring yourself in what feels right. What survives suffering is something durable, something meaningful, something yours. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is endurable, then endure it. If it is not, then stop complaining." That clarity is what pain offers. It removes the gray areas. It corners you into making a choice, commit or walk away. Once you have found your true intention through suffering, you no longer chase motivation. You move with conviction. Underscore 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 underscore. Chapter 4. Pain and the Practice of Presence. Pain has a way of pulling us out of the moment. It lures us into the past, where we relive mistakes, or into the future, where we worry about outcomes we cannot control. But the Stoics saw pain differently. They saw it as a powerful call to return, a summons to come back to yourself, to root yourself in the now, the only place where life actually happens. When you stub your toe, it jolts you back to your body. The pain is sharp, immediate, and undeniable. It brings your awareness straight to the present. In that moment, you are fully alive. Pain commands attention. The Stoic sees this not as a disturbance, but as an opportunity, a chance to return to the truth of now, to not flinch, but to feel, not to escape, but to engage. This presence is not passive. It is an active return to what is real. The modern world teaches us to distract, to scroll endlessly, to numb the ache before it speaks. We flee discomfort as if it is the enemy. But the Stoics remind us there is wisdom in staying, in breathing, in pausing, in noticing what hurts without being consumed by the story around it. This is not weakness, this is mastery. Pain in this way becomes a sacred bell ringing in the present moment, telling you, pay attention. Not to what could go wrong, not to what already has, but to what is. It is an invitation, not a punishment. It is a doorway back to your senses, back to your body, back to reality. It breaks the illusion of control and reminds you of participation, the ability to show up fully to what is happening. Pain can bring you to your knees, but in that posture, it also invites reflection and awareness. It teaches you that reality is not always meant to be pleasant, but it is always meaningful. To awaken to the moment you are in and meet it fully, that is where your power lies. In presence, you remember that pain is a visitor, not a verdict. That fear is a cloud, not a cage. That your power does not live in fantasy or memory, but in this moment, this breath, this decision. The Stoics knew that a person rooted in the present cannot be uprooted by the future. That is the mastery we build. That is the quiet triumph of living awake. Practice. When in pain, physical or emotional, pause and breathe deeply for 60 seconds. Close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your breath. Focus fully on the present moment without rushing to interpret or resist what you are feeling. Ask yourself gently, without judgment, what am I being called to notice right now? Allow yourself to sit with the discomfort as though it were a messenger. Remind yourself, I do not need to solve this. I only need to stay with it honestly. Underscore 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 underscore. Chapter 5. The Strength in Suffering Silently. We live in a world that rewards dramatic suffering. We signal pain online, turning it into performance, hoping to receive sympathy and attention. But the Stoics practiced a different kind of strength. The quiet kind. The kind that does not need an audience. The kind that finds its dignity not in validation, but in self-respect. Seneca said, "He who suffers before it is necessary, suffers more than is necessary." The Stoic understands that broadcasting pain often multiplies it. That attention does not heal, it can amplify. That noise does not equal power. Silence is a choice, a discipline, a weapon of the soul. It is a declaration that your strength is yours alone, not something that needs to be seen to be real. To suffer silently is not to deny your pain, but to own it. To face it with composure, to process it without theatrics. It is not about pretending you are fine. It is about deciding you do not need an audience to be courageous. This does not mean isolation, it means dignity. The Stoic shares pain only when it is helpful, when the purpose is clarity or healing, not pity. There is a sacred pride in knowing what you have survived without needing to shout it. A quiet dignity in walking through fire without leaving a trail of smoke. These victories do not trend. They do not earn likes, but they build something far more meaningful: self-respect. Your soul remembers every moment you did not give in. Your strength grows in silence like roots beneath the surface. Real strength does not boast, it simply is. The world does not need to validate it because it cannot even measure it. Real strength is measured not in what others see, but in what you know you have endured. Underscore 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 underscore. Chapter 6. Pain reveals what you truly control. Pain has a way of revealing our illusions, especially the illusion of control. When pain arrives, when a relationship ends, when illness strikes, you are reminded that most things are outside your command. This is where many people collapse. They resist what they cannot change. They rage against reality. But the Stoics did something different. They asked, "What can I control right now?" Epictetus taught, "Some things are up to us and some things are not." Pain is the force that clarifies that boundary. You may not control what happened to you, but you do control how you interpret it. You may not control the timeline of healing, but you do control how you walk through it. The moment you stop trying to bend the world to your will and instead align your will to what is, you reclaim your power. Not the power to avoid pain, but the power to navigate it with dignity. This shift from control to command is what Stoicism is about. Pain humbles you into this wisdom. You cannot control the storm, but you can choose the kind of person you become within it. You cannot control how others act, but you can control how you respond. Reaction is reflex. Response is power. And response is always within your reach. This is the core of inner freedom. Life may injure your body or disrupt your plans, but it cannot touch your will unless you give it permission. That is why Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." underscore 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 underscore. Chapter 7. Pain and the Rebirth of Identity. Pain does more than hurt. It transforms. It dismantles the identities we thought were permanent. It tears down the roles we performed, the masks we wore, the expectations we clung to. This is terrifying, but it is also liberating, because behind every identity shaped by comfort lies a deeper self forged in adversity. The Stoics did not fear this process. They welcomed it. They saw each painful experience as a chance to shed what was false and embrace what was essential. Pain does not just break you, it breaks you open. It allows something more honest to emerge, something real, something tested. It is difficulties that show what men are, wrote Epictetus. When pain takes away who you were, it offers you a rare invitation to become someone new. Not in a shallow sense of reinvention, but in the rooted sense of becoming more aligned with what cannot be taken away. When status is stripped, who are you? When strength is gone, what do you lean on? When everything external is taken from you, what remains inside? These are the questions that pain demands you answer. Not with words, but with your life. This is how pain becomes a crucible. You go in uncertain, fragile, fragmented. But if you stay long enough, if you face the fire instead of running from it, you emerge as someone you trust, someone you have tested, someone you respect. Not perfect, but real. And real is stronger than perfect because real does not fracture under pressure. Real is resilient. Pain does not just break the surface, it breaks through to what is authentic. And in authenticity is where freedom lies. Underscore 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 underscore. Chapter 8. Pain strengthens discipline. Pain is not only a revealer of character, it is also a builder of discipline. It creates a friction that forces you to choose, give in to the impulse of escape, or grow through restraint. Discipline in the Stoic sense is not about punishing yourself. It is about alignment. It is about returning to your values when everything else is trying to pull you away. It is about acting according to principle, even when emotion screams for relief. Pain is the perfect forge for this kind of discipline. When your body aches or your heart breaks, discipline is what reminds you to stand upright. It reminds you that your response is still your choice, that your dignity is not at the mercy of how you feel. It means showing up when quitting is easier. It means choosing consistency over chaos. It means doing the right thing, not because it feels good, but because it is good. No man is free who is not master of himself, Epictetus reminded his students. Pain gives you the opportunity to prove this mastery. This kind of discipline does not just help you endure pain, it reshapes your relationship with it. Each time you make that choice, your self-command grows. It is forged in silence, strengthened by repetition, and affirmed in struggle. Over time, that self-command becomes unshakable. It becomes who you are. Underscore 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 underscore. Chapter 9. Pain teaches compassion. Stoicism is often misunderstood as cold or indifferent. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Stoics understood that true strength breeds deeper compassion, not weakness. and pain is what creates the bridge between strength and empathy. Pain humbles you. It softens your judgments. It reminds you that every person is carrying something invisible. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize?" Pain teaches you not just how to survive, but how to care. It reveals that behind every outburst may be a hidden grief, behind every failure a silent battle, behind every harsh word an unseen wound. Pain makes you slower to judge and quicker to love, not in a sentimental way, but in a strong, grounded, stoic way. You see yourself in others, and that vision deepens your humanity. Underscore 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 underscore. Chapter 10. Pain is the path to inner freedom. This is the paradox of pain. What begins as restriction can lead to liberation. The discomfort that once confined you can become the very force that frees you. Pain is not the end of your freedom. It is the beginning of it, because true freedom is not the absence of hardship. It is the ability to stay unmoved in the face of it. The Stoics did not define freedom as external ease. They defined it as internal mastery. Pain sharpens that mastery. Every time you endure without bitterness, you cut the chains of dependency on comfort. Every time you suffer without self-pity, you reclaim authority over your mind. Every time you walk through darkness without abandoning your values, you become free. Not from pain, but from the fear of pain. Pain becomes your teacher. It shows you where you were still attached, where you were still afraid, where you were still defined by things outside yourself, and it walks you slowly and painfully back to your center, the place where nothing external can enslave you anymore. Pain may wound the body, but it can liberate the soul. Pain is not the enemy. It is the hidden curriculum of strength, the secret passage to clarity, the test that reveals your deepest truth. You are not meant to avoid pain. You are meant to grow from it. The Stoics knew this. They lived it, and now you can too. Use your pain, walk through it. Let it carve you into something rare, something real, something resilient. Because the secret power of pain is not that it just changes your life. It changes you.